We are finding out more about all the products that move in and out of the Hamilton waterfront with the head of the Hamilton-Oshawa Port Authority, Ian Hamilton, and also now with Mike Warkentin from Parrish Heimbecker, which started out as a grain merchandiser, now largely a flour refiner. Is that?
Yeah. Flour miller. So
flour miller.
We are still heavily in the grain merchandising across the country and throughout the world, but flour, we have become one of the larger flour millers here in Canada, specifically here in Southern Ontario, and the Port of Hamilton has become a very significant location for us, strategically located to the commercial baking industry here in Southern Ontario.
Right, and Ian, this was one of your first big projects when you came on as head of HOPA, because you saw the need to diversify kind of away from steel. Still do a lot of steel, but into other agriculture products.
Yeah, I joined the Port Authority just over 16 years ago, and Parrish Heimbecker was the first large project that we tackled. And you're exactly right. We recognize steel is going to continue to be an important product for Hamilton, but we also thought let's see whether we can diversify. And agriculture was the area that we saw the big opportunity and the need to create better supply chains for.
So, Mike, a lot of the flour comes in from Western Canada, and the wheat comes in. Grain comes. I'm getting all my terms here. Grain comes in from Western Canada. You hold it here, but then you also mill it.
Yeah. So we have on our site on Pier 10, we have two separate facilities. One is our grain facility, which we're a domestic importer of not just wheat, but also other commodity crops from Ontario and from other parts of the country, which is used for merchandise here in Ontario, but also export to multiple countries throughout the world. And then we also have one of our largest flour milling operations in the country here at the Port of Hamilton. As the Canadian population's grown over the past couple of years, we've seen significant growth in the demand for quality baked goods. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is the quality of Canadian flour that we mill here and throughout the country. And so we've adapted to that change in the commercial baking industry with some significant growth here in the Port of Hamilton.
And it's just because you're here as well, because there are so many bakeries, commercial bakeries here. Or Ian, is it kind of the other way around? Those commercial bakeries grew as a result of what's going on here at the port.
I think it was a combination, but certainly the investments that Parrish Heimbecker and others have made have created a whole new infrastructure base for food manufacturing in Southern Ontario. We heard a little bit about the sugar earlier and the flour. We've got all the ingredients for a perfect cake.
Right. So how many shiploads of grain would come into the port for you?
I don't even know the answer. I don't know the answer to that on a daily basis. It would be a significant volume of wheat that's coming in here every year, because we are. This is our biggest facility in the country, so we are milling a significant amount of wheat here at the Port of Hamilton. However, we also use this as an export terminal for corn, soybeans, soybean meal that goes into the animal feed industry here in here in Ontario and other parts of the world as well.
Wow, and you would never know that driving by, right? How much is going on here?
We're kind of the hidden gem. The agricultural industry as a whole is kind of the hidden gem when you look at operations like this. It's such an important and vital piece to every economy, because we're one of the oldest trades that exists in the world. We're millennia old compared to a lot of the other industries, and a lot of the processes obviously have adapted but have remained very, very similar over those thousands of years. But you can't have that population growth and that economy growth without flour milling and without that baking industry. So we're very proud to play that part in the Canadian industry.
So you should be, Mike. Thanks very much, and Ian as well. We'll be back with more from HOPA right after this.